Hare Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Vallabhadhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Nana Braja Jana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Nana Braja Jana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Nitai Gaura Premanande Hare Krishna. We welcome all the devotees and seek blessings from all the devotees. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We are reading today from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3rd, Chapter number 26, Text 41. Rupamatrad vikurvanat tejaso daiva choditat rasamatram abhut tasmad ambho jivha rasagraha rupamatrad vikurvanat tejaso daiva choditat rasamatram abhut tasmad अम्भोजिह्वारसग्रह रूपमात्राद्विकुर्वाणात् तेजसो दैवचोदितात् रसमात्रम् अभूत्तस्मात् अम्भोजिह्वारसग्रह तेजसो दैवचोदितात् रसमात्रम् अभूत्तस्मात् अम्भोजिह्वारस वैष्णवीस् रूपमात्राद्विकुर्वाणात् तेजसो दैवचोदितात् रसमात्रम् अभूत्तस्मात् अम्भोजिह्वारस रूपमात्रात्, which evolves from the subtle element form. Vikurvanat, undergoing transformation. Tejasa, from fire. Daiva Choditat, under a superior arrangement. Rasamatram, the subtle element taste. Abhut, became manifested. Tasmat, from that. Amba, water. Jivha, the sense of taste. Rasagraha, which perceives taste. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Translation. By the interaction of fire and the visual sensation, the subtle element taste evolves under a superior arrangement. From taste, water is produced, and the tongue which perceives taste is also manifested. Purport. The tongue is described here as the instrument for acquiring knowledge of taste. Because taste is a product of water, there is always saliva on the tongue. Hare Krishna. We seek blessings of all the Vaishnavas here. Till now, last more than 2 decades, we only came to Mayapur to hear. Today, we've been told to speak. So it's a joke for us also. So we really need blessings. Om Adnyantimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामने गौरक्तुषे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण. Okay, so we have been told to read also the translations of 42nd and 43rd. If you read after a few minutes, is that okay? Okay. So being here in Mayapur is so elevating to consciousness. Just remembering that yesterday we got to go to Yoga Peeth and just remembering how the entire movement began from here. Seeing the Ganges here. Of course, where I serve there also Ganges is there. But here because Lord Chaitanya played in those waters, so it's very special. So we are remembering how Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur started this movement here, discovered this place of Lord Chaitanya's appearance. Just like Queen Kunti says in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1st, that let my devotion flow towards the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, just like the Ganges flows. We are talking of the water today here. So, water element is so special. Prabhupada describes in that context of Queen Kunti's prayers that water is so amazing, so humble, that it adapts to any situation. If a mountain comes in front, the water doesn't sit tight and start fighting there. It just finds a way out. If there are lows and ups, then water just finds its way. But it remains determined to flow towards the Ganges. It retains its quality as water, but it adapts to the shape and direction of whatever the situation commands. So similarly, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he took this message of Lord Chaitanya and he began this movement which flew, the water of the mercy of Lord Chaitanya flew from here, especially from Bhaktivinoda Thakur times, and then Srila Saraswati Thakur also gave it a great shape, and then Srila Prabhupada took it all over the world. Just seeing here, just coming here and seeing so many devotees is so blissful, so blissful. Right today in the Mangal Aarti, right from the entry gate itself, there's no place. It's so, it's so wonderful actually. So, just thank you for all the devotees who are making Mayapur what it is. So today we are having this context of Prabhupada writes here that the tongue is described as the instrument for acquiring knowledge of taste. Because taste is a product of water. There is always saliva on the tongue. Now Srimad Bhagavatam is supposed to describe only purely about Krishna, as Narada Muni told to Vyasadeva. Then why does it describe so much about matter? We know matter doesn't matter. And yet there is so much description of the matter, all are across the Srimad Bhagavatam. So, one time, one very senior preacher in our movement, His Grace Radhesham Prabhu, so he asked this question to His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj in the end of a Bhagavatam class, where there was a description of Brahma creating the universes. So he asked about certain calculations which were given in the purport by Srila Prabhupada. So Maharaj was not prepared exactly for the math involved, but for the conclusions. So Maharaj said, okay, I'll talk to you later. And then Maharaj called Prabhu after some time, and he spent lot of time with him in the ashram explaining to him about the calculations. They actually sat and did the entire calculations. Probably, the computers were not there that time. So they were sitting and doing everything on the paper, and then they found the values to be matching. So in the middle of it all, Radhesham Prabhu that time told Maharaj that, Maharaj, maybe it's all right. I just asked. It's not such a big thing. It's all right. You're making the endeavor, that's all right. Maharaj said, no, we have to take this seriously because the acharyas have taken it seriously. It seems to be a material calculation, but because it is bringing the conclusion of pure devotional service, and acharyas have emphasized it in their commentaries. Prabhupada has talked about it multiple times. That's why we also have to take it seriously, and we have to understand if we are not convinced. So similarly in the Srimad Bhagavatam, we find in many places there is a lot of description of matter. Canto 5th entirely is filled with the geographical description. We find in the 2nd and 3rd canto description of Vishwarupa from different perspectives, which is there in the Gita itself, in the chapter 11th. Even in Gita, in the 10th chapter, in the 7th chapter, 15th chapter, there are a lot of examples given from the material nature. How to understand Krishna's opulences, how to understand Krishna's supremacy. So why are these examples there? Let's take for instance this 3rd canto itself. In the 11th chapter, there is description of time and distance. And in the after starting from the lowest unit of time and distance, it takes us to the highest unit, which is of Mahavishnu. And it ends there, it halts there, saying that all time and all distance, which means all the universes for all time to come, they come from Mahavishnu and then they enter back into Mahavishnu, just with each of his breath. And now the entire description which the Bhagavatam had put across seems so insignificant that, all the universes will simply go into Mahavishnu. They just came from Mahavishnu. Then Mahavishnu is the highlight here. Yes, exactly. That is exactly what Bhagavatam is trying to bring about. Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he has just written that song in which he writes that last line, Nama vina kichu nahi ko aara chauda bhuvana majhe. In the entirety of 14 planetary systems, there is nothing special except the holy name. The holy name is the only truth. Satyam, Satyam, Punah Satyam, Harer Nameva Kevalam. This is the only Satyam, because everything is so illusory and so temporary. So, that is the reason Bhagavatam is describing in detail the material world, so that we don't have to get into it. So Bhagavatam describes so many examples also to explain the material world, like the famous example of spider, that how the spider creates the web and then doesn't get entangled into it, and even can wind it up very smoothly, very neat. So similarly, the Supreme Lord, he creates this entire material nature and doesn't get entangled into it, and he can wind it up. And there are some wonderful things which happen within this material world by the arrangement of the Lord. So here we find the description of taste because of water. So in Hindi there is a saying, "Muh mein pani aa gaya." Just by looking at some wonderful item, or even by hearing the description of an item, just the name of an item which we love to eat, and we have like saliva on the tongue. Because to experience taste, water is the most important element. I heard actually lectures of His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj and His Holiness Kadam Kanan Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada on these three verses. So I'm just sharing what they shared very beautifully. So it is described that like the difference between the Western cooking and the Vedic cooking, or the modern cooking, let us say, not Western exactly, but the modern cooking in the Vedic cuisine. So they were explaining how water is a very important element in a healthy cooking. So in the Vedic times, whatever was prepared, you see, was quite edible actually. It would not stay for a long time. And because the water element was a lot, so the satisfaction of taste also was a lot. Like today, all the modern cookings, most of the modern cooking, they try to remove the water element a lot, unless it's a drink directly, And in the drink also they try to put a lot of sugar. But actually speaking, if the water element is there, the taste becomes very satisfying. It is explained like that. So let us see Brahma himself. Now when Brahma was created by Mahavishnu, by Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, to the lotus in his navel, Brahma first tried to study the entire place where he was. He was not able to understand anything actually. From that lotus, he tried to go to the stem, up and down, and it was so huge, that entire place, because it was 14 planetary systems, that place was supposed to be. And Brahma couldn't understand who am I, why am I, where am I, what am I supposed to do, nothing. And then the Supreme Lord, out of His causeless mercy, invisibly spoke to him to perform austerity. And then he performed austerity, I believe, for 100 celestial years. And then Brahma becomes enlightened. And then, he understands that, I can now render service, to the Lord. And then he performs service. So Krishna is the original Guru who empowered Brahma to create. And from Brahma's life we learn that through Pratyaksha Anuman of this entire material world also, we don't gain anything. It is only by this Shabda that we can understand what to do with this material world. Otherwise, even Brahma, the first living entity, could not understand. With all his intelligence, his body was made entirely of intelligence, and he could not understand what to do with this entire material world, what to make out of it. So, Prabhupada says in his lectures, on all those three verses, repeatedly, that Krishna can be experienced through the taste of water. Prabhupada says Krishna consciousness is so simple. When you taste the water, your thirst is quenched, you get satisfaction. And Prabhupada says people can even survive on water. So there are yogis, and in the recent time there was a yogi who became very famous, whom the doctor even kept in the hospital for several weeks to study, to make a study on him. His name was Prahlad Jani, and he became an internet sensation. That how he is not taking any food at all, and he has been just surviving on water since like decades and years. So in the Himalayas, of course the water has to be having some minerals, not like today's so-called mineral water. So he's been surviving on that water, and it's quite fit, this guy. So just surviving on water and air. So water can be so nourishing actually. In fact, Prabhupada once said that in one lecture that one brahmachari, he would take so much water that he would hardly had the need to take any food. So water is considered the elixir of life. Like we can see in the further few verses. Let's just read the 42nd verse. So I'm just reading the translation. Although originally one, taste becomes manifold as astringent, sweet, bitter, pungent, sour and salty due to contact with other substances. So when water element mixes with other substances, the different tastes are produced. just like the different colors mix and then more colors are produced. Then text 43rd, translation. The characteristics of water are exhibited by its moistening other substances, coagulating various mixtures, causing satisfaction, maintaining life, softening things, driving away heat, incessantly supplying itself to reservoirs of water, and refreshing by slaking thirst. Purport. Starvation can be mitigated by drinking water. It is sometimes found that if a person who has taken a vow to fast takes a little water at intervals, the exhaustion of fasting is at once mitigated. Sajala fasting. In the Vedas, it is also stated, Apo Maya Prana. Life depends on water. With water, anything can be moistened or dampened. Flour dough can be prepared with a mixture of water. Mud is made by mixing earth with water. As stated in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, water is a cementing ingredient of different material elements. If you build a house, water is actually the constituent in making the bricks. Fire, water, and air are the exchanging elements for the entire material manifestation. But water is the most prominent. Also, excessive heat can be reduced simply by pouring water on the heated field. So just see how many functions water is performing. Just one element, water. I remember studying in our 8th or 9th grade in school that there is this photosynthesis process, and just water and sunlight are the primary ingredient. And the one may wonder that how is the water element entering there. So it is described that there are this xylem and phylum in the something they name some system in the stems of the plant, and it helps in the up and down of water. So water is everywhere actually. Anywhere you put water, life thrives. And the satisfaction which we can get by drinking water, we cannot get by drinking other. Like water cannot be substituted by other things. You can take other things as well, but water is water. The original is original. So people are looking for so many rasas, but water is a very foundational basis of all those rasas. So Prabhupada says a true scientist would actually do well by recognizing Krishna's contribution, Krishna's hand behind every element of this creation. In fact, in one lecture I heard that a devotee can dance in ecstasy just by looking at a mosquito. How? Because just by looking at a mosquito, one can remember Krishna, that Krishna has made this mosquito. So that devotee was telling that, can we prepare even a dead body of mosquito? No, we cannot. And Krishna has prepared so many mosquitoes, and then he has put life into all those mosquitoes. He's injected life, which is so amazing. So water element has been given by Krishna. I remember in COVID days, like when people were looking for those oxygen cylinders, so there were all these forwards on social media that, have you ever thought of paying God for oxygen he has been supplying freely? So similarly, water element, so free. In India, water was never sold, like till the time we were kids. So I remember when I was just a teenager, or maybe I was not even a teenager, just a little boy, in 1990s sometime, and first time I saw water being sold on a railway station. And I went into the train, I asked my father, "Father, give me 1 rupee." So they were selling some pouches like of the water. So my father told, "For what do you need 1 rupee?" So I said, "This, I want to get the drinking water." He said, "Come on, don't fool me. Water is never sold. There's no price on water." I said, "They're asking that for clean water we have to pay 1 rupee." So he came out with me. He came out of the train with me on the platform. And then he was surprised to see water being sold. So there was a time when water was not sold, at least in India. But water is very special. So Prabhupada explains that a devotee should try to see Krishna's hand behind small elements of this creation, like water. And we cannot prepare water by ourselves. Even if we do, We have to take Krishna's elements only, oxygen and hydrogen, and then combine them. So Prabhupada says that for airplanes, we need fuel from Krishna's planet. Like we dig the earth and then we get the fuel. Then only we can fly the airplane. To make the airplane, we need certain elements which are strong but which are light in weight. Otherwise, if we make airplanes out of iron, they're not going to fly. So similarly, just this simple elements of water, or air or ether or fire, nobody ever bothers about these things. In our body, if we see the arrangement of bones, if we see the arrangement of the blood vessels, if we see the processes like digestion, how it's happening. Here in Bengal, if we see so many vegetables, how they are growing so nicely, we can get amazed by Krishna's creation. And simply, as the Gita explains, by tasting water, we can be joyful. That, oh, Krishna has sent this water. So devotee means he tries to see Krishna's hand in every situation. So once Srila Prabhupada, he was explaining that how a devotee should simply try to share Krishna consciousness with everyone. And Prabhupada was telling everyone that please go out and distribute books. So one devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada said that if you die on the streets while distributing books, you will go back to Godhead. So devotees went like, Hari Bol, Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. And then one devotee had this question and he asked, Prabhupada, what if a devotee dies while not distributing the books? He's off the streets. Will he also go back to Godhead? And Prabhupada said, not necessarily. So he became concerned that, how can I ensure that every moment I am out on the streets distributing books? So then he said, Prabhupada, but how will I ensure that I die while distributing books? So Prabhupada said, so I don't know about that, but one thing I can assure you, if you dedicate your life to spreading the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, somehow or other, then whenever you die, Lord Chaitanya will ensure that you return back home, back to Godhead. Hari Bol! So, just the simple teachings of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, that even with these elements, like scientifically we can understand that how these elements are coming from Krishna. Like Prabhupada had that famous example, that conversation with one person who said, Swamiji, I am also spiritual and this and that. So Prabhupada said, what do you do? So he said that he had some business of glass, like this glass, not the cup glass, the glass, the windows. So Prabhupada said, so how do you make glass? So he said, I make it out of silica. How do you get silica? So he said, I get it from sand. And where do you get sand? So he said, like, it's there on the beaches, it's there on the riverbeds, it's there on the shores of the ocean. Prabhupada said, oh, that means you're a thief, because you're stealing from Krishna. You're not making your own sand and you're not paying anything to Krishna. And then this person said, no, Swamiji, you got it wrong. Actually, I also give some donation. So Prabhupada said, okay, you're a smaller thief, So then this person was quite taken aback and he couldn't say anything. And Prabhupada went on to explain that every element in the creation is coming from Krishna. So I remember I think it was in a 9th grade when we first studied this, 9th or 10th, whatever. We first studied this metals and non-metals, and then later on in detail in the 11th grade. So it's very fascinating how the difference of one proton or difference of one electron, as they describe, in that atom which is not even visible, and in that one molecule, they say there is like 6 followed by 23 zeros, and that many little atoms are there in one molecule, and in each atom there are those protons and electrons. It's so fascinating how Krishna has made this creation. So the more we study this creation, as many of the scientists also have claimed, genuine scientists, the more we study this creation, the more we realize that there has to be an intelligent design behind it. There has to be a hand of a intelligent and a conscious person. Why do we say intelligent and why do we say conscious and why do we say person? So Prabhupada explains that person because this cannot be done by some unconscious being. Prabhupada's famous talks, the conversations, life comes from life. And Prabhupada goes on to explain even matter comes from life. So we see any living entity who is born, it always comes from another living entity. So nowadays they have this artificial methods of test tube, like they take the part from the semen from the man and then the ovum from the woman and then they mix in the laboratory and then again place it in the womb of a living woman. So they might have done the arrangement in the laboratory, but ultimately it is coming from the living people which were created by the Supreme Lord. Any little insect also comes from another living insect. Any tree comes from the seed provided from another living tree. And in fact, matter also comes from life. Like in our body itself, so many juices and acids are being produced. So it is coming because our body has life. So Prabhupada is very simple actually, that this entire creation, there has to be a living person behind it. Because every part of this every little part in this entire creation has a person behind it. Similarly, next thing is intelligence. Why intelligence? Because we see patterns, we see designs, we see deliberation. It's not just random. Like in our body itself, if we study each and every organ of the body, it has a purpose. It has a role to play in that entire unit of the body. As the Sri Ishopanishad says, that it is all perfect. Whatever comes out from the perfect is perfect. We see the weather system, we see the vegetation, the biodiversity. These are all made by the Supreme Lord in such a way that a perfect ecological balance is there. Whatever mess up has been done has been done by the modern man. That's another story. But everything has been so systematically created by the Supreme Lord. So that means there has been intelligence behind it. And third thing, it is conscious. So we can see like there are juices which give us, like in the summer season, so we have watermelon and muskmelon and so many other, like nowadays so many mangoes. Every day they're giving mangoes in the prasadam. So these juicy mangoes are there and so many other vegetables are there. So many types of grains are there. I remember in one Kartik Yatra we were in and we prepared like 3100 items together for Govardhan Puja. So many items, just using milk products, vegetables, fruits, grains, water and some spices. So many, and you can just go on doing the permutation combinations, And the more the number of devotees, probably more the number of items will come up. So we can see that somebody has consciously created this intelligence because there is rasa. Even in the material world, there is rasa. We can see when we solve some equations or solve some puzzles, we get some intellectual rasa as well. Even in studying Bhagavatam, there is some intellectual rasa. I'm not sure whether the Bhagavatam, Vyasadeva meant to give that, but it anyways comes, thanks to Srila Prabhupada, with all his purports. So similarly, in emotions, we can experience rasa, like in the Ramayana. In Ramayana, there are so rich emotions actually. Like even on a platform of dharma, below the pure devotional service, as Lord Ram came, Maryada Purushottam. So in so many of his relationships and dealings, there is such great juice. If with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his dealings between him and his associates, such great rasa is there. Like the famous pastime in Alalnath where Lord Chaitanya was going on the South India tour and the different devotees come ahead and they propose to Lord Chaitanya that, Lord Chaitanya, let me come with you. Why don't you take me as your assistant? and I can pick up your water, and I can carry your clothes and other things for you while you are ecstatic chanting and dancing. And Lord Chaitanya is telling them one by one, why I can't take you. He says to Jagdanand Pandit, Are you are such dominating personality. I don't know whether I will be your assistant or you will be my assistant. Because you will give me some oils and other things, and if I don't accept, you'll go crazy. You will start breaking things, and then to pacify you, I'll have to do, I'll have to go out of my way. So please, thank you. So actually, he was glorifying, indirectly. This is a much more intimate glorification of Jagdanand Pandit than, a direct one would have been. And then Nityanand Prabhu says, why don't you take me? Before you even came on this planet, I had already been roaming around the entire country. So, I have a list of all the routes and maps and timings of the temples and prasadam and all. So, I can assist you very well. And Lord Chaitanya said, I already had a great experience with you, and that's sufficient. Because when I tried to go to Vrindavan, you cheated and deflected me to Shantipur. And then you and Advaita, you both are a good team. And that guy is also telling, wherever I am, that is Vrindavan. You're justifying. And he says that my spiritual master gave me a danda at the time of sannyas, and you broke it while I was taking bath. And Nityananda Prabhu says, hey, you don't need to carry danda. That's the entire thing, We don't know, I will take you to yatra or you will take me to yatra. So please, Hare Krishna. And like that, Mahaprabhu goes on to actually, such hearty glorification. When there is a Rupa Goswami who had written this beautiful glorification of the holy name. So Lord Chaitanya glorifies the glorification given by Rupa Goswami in Antalila. And all the Vaishnavas sitting there, they say that, oh Lord, why Rupa Goswami has understood your heart so intimately is because you have bestowed your most special mercy upon him. Just like Saraswati Thakur bestowed his mercy upon Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada understood Saraswati Thakur's heart. In Leelamrita it is given that Saraswati Thakur even instructed that whatever Abhay writes, just print it. There's no need to check. And when there was proposal for Abhay's initiation, Saraswati Thakur said, oh, I know Abhay. He loves to hear. He does not go away. So we find that in the interactions, in the loving interactions between the Lord and his associates, or even among people like a mother and the kid, there is so much rasa in the emotion, So the Supreme Lord has made this creation in such a way that it clearly has a design, and that is an intelligent design. Even so many scientists have actually analyzed this. Of course, the main framework, the scientists which are there in the main framework, because of whatever propaganda of corporates and all, they don't accept conclusively that intelligent design concept, and yet it is there. And this world is also a conscious creation, Like when a calf comes, immediately mother cow has, vatsalya bhav, as well as she has milk in her udders. Just like a baby comes and the mother has vatsalya bhav. If the baby, if there is that vatsalya attachment and emotion is not there in the mother and the father, then who will take care of the baby? Nobody will take care. Already in Kali Yuga, with all that also nobody is taking care. So had it not been there, placed by the Lord, who would take care? So the Supreme Lord has made this creation, in a very, very beautiful way. And when we study these details, so then Prabhupada says in his lectures on these verses that the perfection of life is to engage all these elements, all these attributes, and all these abilities of taste, vision, and hearing ability, and all these elements of water, fire, air, ether in Krishna's service. And when we do that, life becomes so beautiful. So we can see all the other paths other than Bhakti Yoga, they deny engagement of, or they deny or they limit engagement of senses and material elements. But in Krishna consciousness, literally every emotion can be engaged in Krishna's service. Literally every element can be engaged in Krishna's service. It is just fabulous actually. I wonder if this part of Yukta Vairagya was not there, how many of us in the modern times would have been able to practice Krishna consciousness. Recently we had, I'll just conclude with this. Recently some of the devotees in our local area, local community, so they were asked by some senior devotees to help in some multi sampradaya program. Not multi sampradaya, like spiritual leaders and preachers from different sampradayas, Vaishnava sampradayas, were together in Vrindavan, and the devotees were assisting. And because of that, for few days they had to be in that place. So they were just doing simple services, arranging, organizing, and assisting the senior sadhus and guests. So they had to stay with that entire team, and the main arrangement was like the leading organizers were from other sampradaya. So what happened is the living arrangement, the eating arrangement, and the schedules were actually designed by them. So when our devotees returned, they said, Prabhu, we have all the respects for other sampradayas, and everything is like matching, all the fundamental truths, all the principles and the aspirations, everything is there, same. And the main scriptures are also same, Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. But the lifestyle and the engagements, which Prabhupada has given, the value system which Prabhupada has given, they said we could not have survived elsewhere actually. This parampara, this is brilliant. And they said even prasad. They said prasad matters a lot. We understood after, because in ISKCON you can survive with this prasad. Like you can, okay, I've been told not to eat certain things, fine. But there are good alternatives. In fact, there are very good alternatives. But the culture of engaging like the elements in Krishna's service, what we have here is excellent. In fact, my own mother, because our family is from another sampradaya, so I was born with all that practices. So my mother always says that you ISKCON people are fallen souls. Because on Ekadashi you have gone to the extent of like taking so many things. You justify using everything. And she says, you got spoiled. Previously you were fine. So, but I mean, we understand, because ours is a preaching mission actually. And its preaching mission, Prabhupada has not only made the preachers happy, but the people who come to Krishna consciousness, they are also so happy. Chanting, dancing, feasting. So, we thank Srila Prabhupada for his wonderful purports. And I also thank all the devotees. Although I am sorry for this quite a philosophical thing. So, if some mistake has been there, kindly please forgive me. Hare Krishna. So, many senior devotees are here. They may, Prabhuji's, Mataji's, if your comments, please share. We have 5 minutes. Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for your nice class. Srila Prabhupada said that tasting wine, remember Krishna.
Yeah.
So how to remember Krishna? Because he is intoxicated.
Prabhuji, I don't have experience of tasting wine. But I remember His Holiness Indradumna Maharaj shares one pastime that Prabhupada was once on a plane and there was his assistant watching. Prabhupada was watching and assistant was watching Prabhupada. So Prabhupada was watching in the TV. There was this Charlie Chaplin show. And Prabhupada was relishing it like, oh wow. And in fact, the way Prabhupada responded to him, it was like Prabhupada appreciated, this is so nice. And this guy was taken aback. I thought this is Maya. And Prabhupada said, the original fun, the original comedy also comes from Krishna. I think Prabhupada, in that conversation with Bob Cohen, he says that original rascaldom also comes from Krishna. Because Krishna, in Hindi, Prabhuji, we say, na, if somebody is 420, somebody is trying to cheat, Krishna is 840. Krishna is, his, Krishna can counter him also. So I think because the wine is very attractive, so it is a perverted reflection of Soma juice, which Prabhupada glorifies that in the heaven, even in the heavenly planets, it is actually nourishing and healthy. It is not degrading. But here in the Mrityu Loka, on our planet, it is very degrading to the body as well as to the mind. So, but nonetheless, it comes from Krishna. So, anything, as Krishna says in the Gita, yad yad vibhuti matsatvam, srimad urjitam evava, tattadevava gacchatam, mama tejo amsha sambhavam. Anything which is attractive, anything glorious, anything wonderful, comes from at least a spark of Krishna. There is no other origin.
Thank you, bro. Regarding Prabhupada made this one comment about wine. Yeah. He said that if drunkard, if he thinks that taste of this wine is Krishna, then he can become Krishna conscious.
Then he can become Krishna conscious.
Yes,
wow. Yeah, but we have other ways also.
Yeah. And
thank you.
One question. Yeah. Like as you made this statement in your lecture that this every organ in the body, it has purpose. Yeah. Every organ in the body, it has purpose. So my question was, this structure of this body and then structure of the universe, it's so complicated. Yeah. So what is the purpose of making it so complicated? It could have been little simpler also. So why it's so complicated?
Yeah, right. So why is the universe or the creation so complicated? Why are there 84 lakh or 8.4 million species of life? Like there could have been lesser, or there could have been lesser elements. It's true. The thing is that the universe is not just for us. So there are so many living entities with so many desires, material desires, that Krishna has to facilitate all of them. And there are souls with, conditioned souls with so many different varieties of karma, as you say, complicated karma, coming from lifetimes. So it is explained by Prabhupada that every jiva in the spiritual world, all of us, have a unique relationship with Krishna. Just like our, handprint is unique, our thumbprint is unique, our DNA is unique. And every species, this 8.4 million species of life, Krishna had to create them because jivas are having so many material desires. Similarly, there are so many places in the entire universe, in the 14 planetary systems. Why? Life is everywhere, jivana sarvatra. But different people wanted to try to enjoy different situations or different objects. And so Krishna had to create them, in different settings. If certain jiva is wanting to enjoy certain things in the heavenly planets or in the lower planetary systems, that condition is not suitable to facilitate us on this earth planet. And similarly on earth planet also, there are so many different situations, time, place, circumstances. Plus, along with the desires, we all have complicated karmas also. So, if we do too much analysis, there will be paralysis. So, only thing is, the essence is very clear, the principle is very clear, that this material world is not a place to be. This is a foreign place, and in this way or that way, it will only give us frustrating experience. So, we can try, that's what we have been trying in different births, different lifetimes. So, Jnanavan, Bahunam Janmanam Ante, Jnanavan, Mam Prabhadyate, Vasudevah Sarvamiti, Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. Thank you, Prabhu. So, I think we'll just end here. Okay, one last. No? Okay, thank you very much. Once again, very grateful to Srila Prabhupada and all the devotees here for giving me an opportunity. Hare Krishna. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल।